Hi everyone, this is Jennifer Dono. You're watching the third daily webcast here on YFElive.com. The show is daily at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for about 20 minutes. And I'm your host every day, but sometimes I will have a co-host, and that includes tomorrow. We have Ursula Reynolds that's going to join me, and then Friday we also have a co-host, and then we have a few next week as well. Today's show is called Winning Wednesday. So we're doing Wednesdays like it's 2011. I'm really excited, and I even put together, this is how nerdy I was about it.
Wow, winning.
Right? So I put together a whole little, my husband would be so proud. He's into the whole, what's that called? Radio talk show thing. And he would be really proud of my sound bites. So anyway, it's Winning Wednesday. I really liked the alliteration in all of the days that we had. And so tomorrow is a thematic Thursday, and we're actually going to be talking about branding with Ursula, and it's going to be lots of fun. Ursula is a jewelry designer, and she's going to tell us all about her business tomorrow. So with Winning Wednesday, what we're doing is we're talking about some successes that have happened this week, and it's successes between our community and also just some in pop culture and in bigger business altogether, because the show is really about self-development, entrepreneurship, and fun. So it's really made for the woman in her 20s and 30s who is in business or interested in entering into business. So to get started, I wanted to talk about what's particularly winning in our community is the power of glamour. So for Bootstrap Book Club, we were voting in between 3 books, The Power of Glamour, Hatching Twitter, and Unlabeled by Mark Echo. And I'm really excited to start reading The Power of Glamour. Really fantastic book. And it's definitely winning beyond just Bootstrap Book Club, right? So if you've been looking at some of the news, there was an article in Inc., I think it was yesterday or the day before, titled Glamour versus Glitz, Do Luxury Brands Get It Right? And I thought that was so exciting that it was in Inc. magazine, because I love this book. It was one of those ones, I talked about it yesterday, that it was just kind of a surprise to me about what it made me think about and how I'm going to apply it in my business. And so I don't know if any of you guys have gotten a chance to pick it up yet. It's a fantastic book. But this article in Inc., and we'll include a link, I'll pop it into the chat too, was interesting because he took kind of a different approach to it, where he was looking at, glamour brands and if they were really up to the whole standards that Virginia Pastoral puts together in her book. Is this really glamorous, or are they kind of missing the mark? And I thought it was interesting because there's a piece in the end of the book that talks about new glamour today. So there's wise glamour. And one of the case studies or the pieces that they mentioned, or she mentioned, was Old Spice's commercials with the guy on the horse. She mentions that as being new glamour, where we kind of catch on to it. It's putting it right there in our face, but at the same time, it is including an element of glamour. So very excited to get reading that book. And again, let me know in the chat if you've picked it up not yet, or if you'll be joining us. So we've got The Power of Glamour as being a winning brand. And
You're winning or you're losing. There's nothing in between.
Did you hear it? I don't have my earpiece in, so I don't know if it's playing. But do
you want your earpiece?
No, it's fine. So moving on, another winning book that we read in Bootstrap Book Club is Josh Kaufman's The Personal MBA, who tweeted out that it was a nice surprise this morning that his site was featured in the 2013 Forbes 100 Best Business Sites. And that's really cool. And so I haven't gotten a chance yet to look at what exactly was in that. So Josh Kaufman's blog, a collection of essays, announcements, quotations, and found, etc., is in this lineup. So there's 100 of them. It sounds like a great resource to go through and see what's going on here. Hacker News is in there. Jonathan Fields. Kissmetrics, that's definitely one that's always mentioned as a top resource for young female entrepreneurs that are especially trying to get more traffic and higher conversions into their website. So let me see if I can actually pop this link in the chat so you guys can take a peek and see who else is on here. Oh, and yeah, Terry, they're talking about the Kindle version versus the real book. And I was thinking that too. Terry J. Moore, she's saying worried about the illustrations and the power of glamour. And that's true. I don't want to take it down, but it's a beautiful book. Apart from actually being like something of value that you get, it's also kind of like a coffee table book that I'm excited to put on my coffee table because there's beautiful pictures inside, and it's also just a great topic of conversation, the idea of glamour and some of the key studies behind it. So anyway, moving on, definitely check out that resource. It sounds fantastic. And so another winning piece, moving on past just like the Bootstrap Book Club, is, and I follow all of you guys on Instagram. If I'm not following you yet, at YF Entrepreneur, make sure you let me know on the chat, and I'll definitely pop over there and follow you, because that's how I find out most of the information about what's going on with you. But at Miss I don't know how to pronounce that. She was talking about vision boards, and I was really excited about that because we talked about vision boards yesterday on the second episode of the Jenn cast. And I was really happy about all of the responses we got. But one of the other things that I was really happy about was the life motto piece. And I'm really struggling to be able to say what my life motto is in one sentence. So we talked about this. Let me see if I can put this on here so you guys can see it. We talked about this life motto that the Glamour Women of the Year Awards did, and I put it up on our website and asked you guys what your comments or what your mottos were. And there's a lot of really awesome ones. I'll just read a couple that were on the actual blog post comments, but there's also some on our Facebook page. Nicole Laban, which I believe she does a Pilates ballet mix workout, really interesting. I follow her on Twitter. She says, "All things are ready if our minds be so," by Henry V, by William Shakespeare and Henry V. "I'll go anywhere as long as it's forward," by David Livingstone, and "Hustle is a muscle. You've got to work it out," and that's her own words. And then the Botanical Box says that she loves the hustle as a muscle, and hers is similar. "Think like a boss and you'll be a boss." It's comical but true, and I really like those two. And I have to be totally honest, I'm struggling at what my life motto is. I'd love to hear yours. So yeah, definitely the vision board stuff was a lot of fun, and it sounds like a lot of you guys really do have a very clear idea of what your life's mission is and what you're out here to do. Definitely something I want to keep working on. Along with that, and that's happening in the community, is that a lot of you are experiencing anniversaries. And that's really exciting too. And I was a little confused at first. I'm like, why are you guys all starting businesses in September, October, and November? So there's a lot of 1 year, 2 year birthdays that are happening with businesses. And I was thinking about it, and because November is not really a date that you do things in, right? That's kind of like the preparation for the year end and getting ready for the next year. But when you're first starting out, a number of the conferences and things that happen that encourage you to get started happen in September, October, and November, right? Especially like in the last couple years. I think it's starting to die down a little bit more, but we see a lot of coaches and inspirational speakers come out with conferences and programs and things like that over the last few months. And so I kind of feel like that is maybe a catalyst for people saying, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I would be interested to know how many of you actually had the idea for a business and how long that idea was in your head before you actually got started, and what was the point where it was like, yes, I'm going to start this month, I'm going to start today, and go forward. So I wonder, definitely comment whether you're watching live in the chat, or comment below this video and let me know how long the idea was in your head before you actually got started, and what made you actually move forward. I think that's two really interesting things as far as entrepreneurship goes to know. So apart from anniversaries, other really cool things in the community are happening that women are definitely winning for. At Mean Krista and Jacqueline Jensen, and then also a few other women that Jacqueline Jensen has featured on YFE Vegas Tech. They've recently been featured in a women's magazine in Las Vegas for being in Vegas Tech and really getting the word out there about the amazing things that's happening in Las Vegas. And if you guys haven't checked it out yet, it's on youtube.com/YF Entrepreneur, our YouTube channel. Jacqueline has a Vegas Tech series that's on there, and she's interviewed a few of the women that are involved, but people are essentially being transplanted into Las Vegas, courtesy of Tony Hsieh. We have his book right here. If you haven't read that book, you have to read it. It's for those of you that are listening to the audio, it's Delivering Happiness. He's basically created this mecca for entrepreneurs where the Downtown Vegas project is at some points funding entrepreneurs to come there. They're providing them with housing and other amenities in order to get their businesses off the ground. And a lot of them are coming there, high-speed internet, an amazing community, and low housing. I've talked to a few entrepreneurs other than the ones that are in tech that are in Vegas, and they say that a draw is definitely the housing, that it's a lot cheaper to live in the outside of the Strip in Las Vegas. However, the downside is if you do buy, some of them are commenting that they purchased in 2007, 2008, and so they said they're basically stuck there. So hopefully they like Las Vegas. So a couple of you are answering in the chats as far as the question of how long it was that you thought about the idea. So Steph_Wright is saying that she thought about it for 4 years. She started January of 2013, and a lot of planning went into late 2012. And I think that's a pretty common thing, is that you kind of have this idea around. At S. Boyd Walker, she had the same thing. She had an idea for 3 years and started really working on it this year. So what I'm wondering from that is, what was the whole point of pushing you into that I'm actually going to get started and get going? That's my question. So another winning person, so speaking of Las Vegas and the women that are going out there and really letting it be known that these cool things are happening within Las Vegas. It's not just a place that you can go to leave your problems or leave your, do stuff that's crazy and not have it come back later on. You can actually have it, leave a legacy in Las Vegas. Another person that's really letting her voice be known is at Brittany Castro. We had her on Wifey Chat Live not that long ago. Maybe a long time ago. I don't remember when that was. I feel like it wasn't that long ago, but I feel like I just had my son and he's 3 now. So at Brittany Castro, she was on CNBC. She's on CNBC recently. She's at a power lunch. She's an expert that provides financial information to young women. That's her whole thing, is that she does that. So you can see the website. Hopefully you can see that and it's not reflecting too much. But she's made it her life's mission to help young women be more financially fit, and she's done an incredible job, and it's been so much fun to watch her. I've watched her over the last couple of years progress, going from being within a company to becoming her own brand as a financial expert. But anyway, I thought she did an outstanding job. I watched her clip on CNBC. I'll have to definitely share that later with you guys below this video so you can check it out. But the thing with her industry is that she is I think she's 29. She's a young female entrepreneur, and she's in the financial industry, which I've talked to a number of young women in finances, and especially ones that are providing information. I forget what you actually call them. You guys will have to tell me. That are sitting down with people and saying, put your money here, don't put your money there, that type of a thing. And a lot of the young women will comment that it's hard because people don't take you seriously. You've just gotten out of school. You don't have that much expertise or that much experience as far as handling your own finances. Why should I trust you with mine? That type of a thing. And I think, and Brittany's expressed that in YFE Chat Live too, but she also said that young women want to speak to their peers, and they're making enough money that they have money to be able to set aside into retirement, and they really need to find out more. And she wanted to be that voice for women, and this started a long time ago, and I feel like just recently she's really coming out into her own, and people are really recognizing her as that expert. And I thought she stood on her own in the show. The expert that was actually there in person was confirming everything she was saying. And what was so cool was in Instagram, and here, let me put that up one more time so you guys can follow her on Instagram, because she's very inspirational. On Instagram, you got to see her getting ready in the morning. She was on the elliptical, and she was going over her talking points. And I thought that was even more inspiring, because she wasn't just using her experience or her expertise that's in her brain to be able to speak out on national television, but she really practiced, she honed in, she had everything really well prepared. And I thought that was very impressive. But comparing, we're talking about winning and how those habits, how we can apply those in our own business. And I was thinking about with Brittany. I don't know about like this. Oh yes, thank you. at the Wong Jessup. Hopefully I said that right. She says financial planners. Yes, that's what I was thinking. So I thought, what's the difference between Brittany and myself? And Brittany, when you look at her on Instagram, she's so focused. That woman knows her life mission. She knows what she's out to do, and she knows how to get there, and she's just working the steps. That's all she is. But she's also out there. She does salsa dancing and all sorts of other fun stuff, and she has a dog, and she has family, so it's not like she doesn't have other priorities that take up her time. She just knows in the big picture of all of it why she's here on earth. And I thought she gets up in the morning and it'll show you like she'll do affirmations and she'll work out and she has habits and a schedule. And we see all of this on Instagram, by the way, so definitely follow her. And in comparison, I was looking at my life. I don't know about you guys, but you'll have to chat in on what your experience is. I have a husband and a kid, and my excuses usually are that there are other priorities in my life, and it's hard to focus on my one core mission, and I get distracted easily. And I was thinking about it when my husband's away on business or for fun or whatever. I get up in the morning and I do affirmations, I work out, I have breakfast, and I have more of a me time. But for whatever reason, when my husband is there, I do get distracted. So I think it's great. I'm not commenting that, Brittany has it easy or anything like that. I just think it's good to sit back and realize, it's good to see in someone else what you should be fixing in yourself. And I think having a little bit more focus and discipline is something that I take away from Brittany's winning time. So yeah, and at Melissa Penton, she's saying, right, it's easy to get caught up in what you think should be doing, but you won't get anywhere shoulding. That's not oh my gosh. All right, so moving on, a couple other little winning things that I wanted to mention apart from singing Brittany's praises is in Mashable. I saw this morning. There's an article, Russian subways now accept squats for payment. And I thought that was awesome. Oh my gosh, let me show you guys this article, and we'll have to play a little bit of this video if we can. Like, could you imagine? I just thought this was winning as far as like marketing and experiential marketing goes. I'm not just saying that I'm a fan of, anything else that Russia's promoting within the Olympics, but I thought this is hilarious. Talking about getting it started, what it looks like. Could you imagine? I think that would be so funny to walk into a subway and see people squatting to get on it. But that's just me. Squats for payment at you, Bren. Yes, that is crazy. I totally agree. So another winning thing is in Fast Company and their Coexist piece. They talk about, they've actually done a couple bicycle things, and I almost did a bicycle theme, but they did Lego-like bike lanes that can snap into place, could create instant biking cities. And I've been hearing a lot about pain points and how entrepreneurs should be creating products and solutions for people's pain points, because that's more guaranteed to make money. And I thought that's fantastic as far as a bike lane that can be moved and put into other places, because that's definitely a pain point that you hear. I mean, there's a video that went viral from Casey Neistat that he rides his bike and he got a ticket for not being in the bike lane, but he's saying it's not safe always to be in the bike lane. There's usually obstructions through it. I thought that was a smart idea to create these movable bike lanes. So I definitely think in my opinion, that's definitely a winning Wednesday piece. And then to end with a couple divas, I don't know if I would call Angelina Jolie a diva, but she's definitely winning the internet today. So I don't know if any of you have seen it. How do you pronounce this? Maleficent? Maleficent?
I know it.
She's the scariest Disney villain ever. Not just Angelina Jolie, like the cartoon version, right? Totally scariest one, and Angelina Jolie is playing it, and you guys have to check out the trailer because I've I recently watched Sleeping Beauty, just like the clips from it with my son, and we went to Disneyland too at the beginning of the year when you go up to Sleeping Beauty, and her laugh, the Sleeping Beauty villain, who that she is, her laugh is so distinct, like it's just creepy. And so Angelina Jolie is playing this, and I thought just a fantastic personal brand Angelina Jolie has, because we don't really hear from her that often. She's not on social media constantly putting things out there. She's known for what she does, not what she says so much. She goes out and helps people, and she has choice films. And so when a film comes out that's from her, that's not necessarily the norm that she's been doing, everyone's talking about it. So I thought that was very cool. Yes, and beautiful, scary. Absolutely. It's a stunning picture. You guys will have to check it out. And then finally, to end on a true diva moment, hopefully you guys will check this out. It's from Hello Giggles, a great site for young women. Beyonce she's always doing something crazy. This woman, she's again someone that has her brand that's very well managed by people, very well edited, as far as her family goes to what we're able to see with her daughter and what she says out in public. So she's been doing crazy things at concerts with cell phones or with smartphones, and this one is of a FaceTime call, and she was on stage singing, and she stops and says, "This is a first," and she says hi to this guy's friend who's on FaceTime. So I thought it was just fun. Hopefully you guys will check out all the links. Thank you so much for watching live for Winning Wednesday. We are going to be live again tomorrow for Thematic Thursday. We're talking about branding, and our guest is Ursula Reynolds. Like I was saying, it's all going to be super fun, very glamorous, with lots of jewelry, and we'll talk about more fun things then. Until then, make sure that you sign up for our mailing list at yfe.me/mailed-it. That's where you can get the latest on everything that we're doing. It's definitely going to be a fun couple weeks with this. We're going to play out a couple things over the weekend when we don't have shows and make some little improvements. And so hopefully you guys will come back. Until then, until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, this is Jennifer Dono, and I will see you then.